Good morning again. In this session, we are going to continue solving or evaluating our understanding or check understanding about the comparison between photosynthesis and respiration. As we said before, we have to compare the photosynthesis and respiration processes by what do they absorb and what do they release. By solving, I conclude now, we made that comparison. Hassan Hammoud, please, can you start solving, I conclude, teacher?
Green plant respire by absorbing O2 and releases CO2.
Excellent.
Green
So by
plant respires all the time, but respiration makes masked by photosynthesis during daytime.
Excellent, Hassan. Excellent, Hassan. Please, so let's write the answer now. Green plants respire or breathe. Respire means also breathe. By absorbing oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. Of course, teacher, you can say O2 instead of oxygen and CO2 instead of carbon dioxide. Capital C, capital O, and O2 next to the O. So green plants respire or also breathe all the time. But respiration is masked by photosynthesis during daytime. This is the answer or solution of I conclude page 53. Now, also evaluation about photosynthesis and respiration. Ahmad Rnem, you have to pay attention more, teacher. We have to write photosynthesis or respiration next to each phrase. For example, I have a phrase or description. I have to write if this description refers to photosynthesis process or respiration. Who wants to start solving the first one? You have to raise your hands, of course. That produces food. Tia. What produces food, Tia? Photosynthesis or respiration, teacher?
The photosynthesis.
Of course, Tia. Excellent. So the first one is about photosynthesis. Thanks, Tia. Mute yourself again. Thank you, teacher. So the first description or phrase is about photosynthesis. Now, Rahaf, it occurs at night and day. Occurs means takes place. Excellent, Rahaf. It is about the respiration. Thanks, teacher. Mute yourself again. It is about respiration. Now, Hussein Dilbani, it releases carbon dioxide. It doesn't need carbon dioxide. Which process? Excellent, Hussein. Also respiration. During the respiration process, all living things release carbon dioxide. Uses water. It uses water or needs water. Who else? Let me show who are the other students. Amal. Amal Aboud, which process uses water?
Photosynthesis.
Excellent, teacher. So during photosynthesis, green plants absorbs water and minerals from the roots. Now, which gas, Ahmad Ghnaim, releases oxygen? It doesn't need oxygen. Which process?
Photosynthesis.
Excellent, Hamada. So photosynthesis also is a process which releases oxygen. It doesn't need oxygen in photosynthesis process, but it absorbs it during the respiration. Look at the last one. It is so easy. Which process occurs only under light? It needs light to be done. Rama, which process needs light? Which one takes place only under light?
What?
Photosynthesis.
Excellent, Noor, mute yourself again. So photosynthesis occurs under light or during the daytime because it absorbs the sunlight. Thank you till now. Now, in the second exercise, I have to read the text about the endive plant. We said before that the endive plant is a green plant that we consume. We consume means we eat or use it. Consume means eat or use it. Of course, you have to write the definitions or synonyms. So endives are placed in an airtight container and the quantity of oxygen contained in the air of this container is measured. An endive plant, as we say, or as we said, is placed in a container, has oxygen inside this container. The measurements of this or the amount of oxygen are carried out for 4 minutes. During 4 minutes, the amount of oxygen is measured and the results are given in the graph below. So, as a conclusion, I have a container or box, any box. I have endive plant, a kind of plant inside it. So, for example, let's find this green plant and tight closed. It is closed tightly and it means it is so it's deprived from air to enter it. The amount of oxygen is inside the container only. The amount of oxygen is inside the container only. We place this endive plant. In a container and we measure the amount of oxygen inside this container. At the beginning of the experiment, it means when we place this endive plant, the amount of oxygen, look at the amount of oxygen. At the beginning was 0, it was 21%. It was 21%. Percent means per 100, okay? So, after 4 minutes, look at the 4 minutes. How does the amount of oxygen become? At what number does it become? Let me ask now Ali Razer. What was now, Ali, the new amount of oxygen after 4 minutes?
4 minutes? 4 minutes, 17.
Yes, excellent, Ali. It becomes 17. Ali, at the beginning, the amount of oxygen was 21 and it becomes 17. Does it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Excellent, decrease.
Because it absorbs it.
Excellent. You have justified excellent, Ali. You justified your answer. So, thank you, Ali. So, the amount of oxygen decreased because the green plant, which is endive plant, absorbs this amount or takes this amount of oxygen. Excellent till now. So now, this graph shows the quantity of oxygen in the air in percent as a function of time or with time in minutes. As shown in the above description, the author told me that these measurements are taken in 4 minutes. These measurements are taken in 4 minutes and one on the y-axis. This is called y-axis. The vertical line is called y-axis and the horizontal line is called x-axis. So, as in the vertical line or the quantity of oxygen at 0, we said before that 0, there is no time is called 0. 0 means at the beginning of the experiment. So, let me ask now, please, Ali Burja. Let me find Ali Burja first. Ali Burja, at the beginning of the experiment, Ali, at the beginning of the experiment,
Yes.
when the time is 0, what was the amount of oxygen?
The amount of oxygen,
Yes.
the minute, was 21.
Excellent. So, thanks Ahmed. Mute yourself again, and Ali, mute yourselves again. So, the amount of oxygen was 21 at the beginning of the experiment. Now, at the end of the experiment, Amal, at the end of the experiment, what was, Amal, the amount of oxygen?
90.
At the end of the experiment, Amal, how much? 17. Excellent. So the amount of oxygen at the end of the experiment, 17. And as your friend said that this amount decreases. Why, Julia, it decreases? Why, teacher? So this amount decreases because, as we said before, the endive plant is a kind of living thing that can breathe or respire by absorbing oxygen. This is all about this graph for today. Thank you.